So, hi everyone, my name is Krishani, I'm from DTESL and I'm currently in my 5th term. So, now I will talking about our group's project for the ALT 10203. The subject name is critical application. So, for this task, we study and compare two well-known literary works, which is Pride and Prejudice, Austen and Animal Farm by George Orwell. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel written in the early 1080s. It tells the story of a young woman named Elizabeth Bennet who learns important lessons about love, pride, and how we should not judge people too quickly. The author Jane Austen lived in England during a time when marriage was very important for women. So yeah, and now it shows how society expected women to act and how some women like Elizabeth wanted to make their own choices. Animal Farm is a very different one. It is a short political story written in 1945 by George Orwell. The story is about a group of animals who take off their farm, hoping to create a fair world, but later the leaders, the pigs, become greedy and cruel. Orwell wrote this book to show how power can change people and how political leaders sometimes like to stay in control. Even though the characters are animals, the message is serious and real. So basically, we chose these two novels because they come from different time periods and talk about different things and messages. Pride and Prejudice talks about love, marriage, and women's rights, while Animal Farm is about politics, power, and freedom. The styles are different too much actually. Austen uses formal and polite language, while Orwell uses simple, direct words to us. This helped us see how authors write in different ways to send strong messages actually. So I coming to the end actually. Even though these books are very different, but they are both still important for today. Pride and Prejudice teach us to not judge people too quickly, guys, and to stand up for ourselves. While Animal Farm reminds us to be careful of leaders who take away from our freedom. Actually, that's why both novels are still read by many people and taught in schools all over the world. So for my part, thank you for listening. Now I will pass it to the next member of this vlog.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about a short biography of Jane Austen. Jane Austen was an English novelist known for her sharp wit, social commentary, and deep insight into human behavior. She was born in Hampshire, England, and began writing at a young age. Her most famous novel include Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, and Persuasion. Austen's work often focus on the Leaf women in the 8th and 9th centuries, especially their struggle with marriage, social status, and morality. She is celebrated for her realistic character, clever dialogue, and her ability to blend romance with criticism of society. Austen remains one of the most influential authors in English literature. Not only that, let's jump into George Orwell's short biography about a novel of Animal Farm. George Orwell was the pen of Eric Arthur Blair, 1903 till 1950, a British writer, a journalist, and critic. Born in India and raised in England, Orwell became known for his strong opinions against totalitarianism, oppressions, and political corruption. He is the best known for his novels, Animal Farm and 1984, which reflect his deep concern about the misuse of power. Orwell wrote political novels to warn people about the dangers of dictatorship, propaganda, and the loss of personal freedoms. His works are powerful tools for understanding politics, power, and human rights. Okay, now let's jump into summary of Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is set in rural England during the early 80s, mainly places like Longbourn, mainly in places like Norburn, Netherfield Park, and Pemberley. The story follows Elizabeth Bennet, a clever and independent young woman, as she deals with love, family, and social expectation. At the heart of the plot is her involving relationship with the proud yet kind Mr. Darcy. Through misunderstanding and personal growth, both must overcome their pride and prejudice to find true love. Key characters include Elizabeth's sweet family with her sweet sister Jane and Mr. Bingley, Darcy's amiable friend who falls for Jane. Meanwhile, it's about Animal Farm. It's about a group of animals who overthrow their human honor to build an equal society, but the pigs soon takes control and Napoleon becomes a harsh dictator. The Napoleon become a harsh dictator, so the story satirizes the Russian Revolution and the key rise of communism. Key characters include Napoleon, the ruthless pig leader, representing Stalin, Snowball, the intelligent pig who wants to progress through sky, Boxer, the loyal but betray horse, Squealer, the propaganda spreading pig, and Old Major, the wise pig who inspired the rebellion. Marx, the story takes place on Manor Farm. Later, it's remain places on Manor, so Animal Farm in the common countryside.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our vlog. Today I'm going to do a critical analysis of two very famous books, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I will talk about their themes, language, style, and how they tell the story. I will also compare the tone, symbolism, and use of irony or stare. Finally, I will share about what these books made me feel or understand. So let's go started. Okay, first, let's go to Pride and Prejudice. This novel focuses a lot of love, marriage, social class, and personal growth, one big theme of how people judge others too quickly. Okay, just like Elizabeth judges Darcy and Darcy judges her family, the language is in the novel very formal and elegant, but also with Jane Austen often uses I need to make us large or think. For example, she opens the book by saying that a rich man must want a wife. That sounds funny, but she's actually showing how people care too much about money and marriage. Okay, the narrative style is third person and we usually follow Elizabeth's point of view. This helps us understand her feelings and opinions. I think it's very clear how Austen makes us change our opinion about characters just like Elizabeth does. Her writing style feels polite, but she often hides sharp truth behind polite words. Okay, now let's talk about Animal Farm. This book is very different. It's a political allegory, which means the story has a hidden meaning. The themes of is about power, control, and how relevance can go wrong. The animals on the farm try to create a fair society, but slowly the pigs take over and become just as bad as humans. Overall, uses simple language that's easy to understand because he wants everyone to get the message. But the ideas behind the words are very deep. The story is told by a narrator who is not a character in the book, and this gives a clear view of what's happening. Overall, uses satire, which means he uses humor and exaggeration to criticize real life politics, especially the Russian Revolution and totalitarianism. This book may look like a children's story at first, but it's really a warning about what happens when leaders get too much of power. So, what are the main difference between the two books? Well, Pride and Prejudice has a more romantic and social tone, which Animal Farm has a serious and political tone. In terms of symbolism, Austen uses small things like letters or dances to show feelings and relationship. Overall, on the other hand, uses big symbolize the animals, the farm, even the wall mill to represent real life events and the people. When it comes to irony, Austen uses funny, gentle way to show the problems in society. Overall, uses right, which is ushered and more direct to show how dangerous and unfair leaders can be. Both authors use these tools very well, but for different reasons. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Shashni. Today I'm going to talk about comparison between Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and Animal Farm by George Orwell. Even though both novels are well-known classics, they are very different in many ways. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel. It was written in the early 18th and takes place in England. Moreover, the story is about a young woman named Elizabeth Bennet. She deals with love, marriage, and how people are treated based on their class and gender. Furthermore, the writer Jane Austen uses polite and clever language. She also had humor and show how people often judge others too quickly. Her writing teaches us about manners, pride, and how people can grow and change. The next novel is Animal Farm. On the other hand is a short novel about animals living on the farm. But it's not really just about animals. The story is political message. George Orwell used animal to show what happens when people in power become greatly and corrupt. It is based on real events from farm history, especially in Russian Revolution. Overall, writing is a simple and clear, but it sends a strong warning about the leaders who take advantage of others. Moreover, in the beginning, the animals want equality and freedom, but in the end, they end up living under your unfair rule again. Next, so what these two very different novels have in common? Yeah, both novels talk about power and how it affects people. In Pride and Prejudice, power comes from social class and money. Men had more control than women, and people were often judged by their status. In Animal Farm, power comes from leadership. The pigs take control and slowly turn into the same kind of rules they thought against. Both stories show us how people use power and how it can be unfair. So next, another similarity is how the character changed. In Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth learned to see things differently. She realized her first impressions were wrong and grow as a person. In Animal Farm, the animals start with big different dream of freedom, but they end up feeling buried and hopeless. This show how people can change for better or for worse. Moreover, we also see the themes of individual versus society. Elizabeth fight against the pressure and marry just a status. She went to choose love. In Animal Farm, the animals want a better life. Society make it hard for them to success. So yeah, next reading these novels, our group learned a lot. We saw how literature can help us understand the world around us. Moreover, Pride and Prejudice taught us about judging other social expectation and role of women. And Animal Farm show us how power can be used to control people and how to revolution can fail if leaders become corrupt. In conclusion, even thought Pride and Prejudice and Animal Farm are different in style and the topic they both teach us important lesson. They help us think about fairness, power, change and society. Their stories remind us to be thoughtful, ask questions and try to understand the system we live in. Hi, thank you for watching and remember readings can help us grow not just as students but as a people. So that's all from us. Thank you.